It's exciting and new. It's vlog number 13 for David.
Hey there. Yeah, you got some dental work done? That's pretty nice. Yeah. So what are you guarding here? What are you doing here? You guarding the door? Is that it? The door? I don't know. Don't know where I'm going with that. This is DaVo. I'm starting to wear down now. It's interesting to me because I'll sit here and I'll start doing these, and sometimes it'll take like 4 or 5 takes. Sometimes it'll just be like, boom, done, one take. This one, a little bit different, I think, because I'm dealing with some stuff right now, kind of trying to, there's my subconscious is trying to work it out. Anyway, so this is vlog number 13 of my weekly vlogs at the Skin Kitchen Tattoo, also known as the SKT, the home of the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, where I do the piercing of the bodies. This show, I'm going to do a rant maybe, talk your ear off a little bit, wander around here like I do every week. And then I'm going to show you some footage from 2 bands. Captured by Robots from Oakland, California. Haven't even watched the footage yet, but if it's anywhere near as great as they were live, it's something that you do want to stick around to watch. Also, I'm going to show some footage from a local band called Skin of Earth. Great band. Underrated. One of those underappreciated things about Des Moines that too many people have not experienced. This week, one thing I do want to tell you, 2 things actually. Tomorrow, Thursday night, which is tonight, because I usually post these on Thursdays, even though I record them on Wednesday, we have Bowling Green Massacre, local band, mixture of Americana, blues, roots music, alt country. They're playing. Then, Did Country Gentlemen. They kind of are a soulful Americana. Kind of got some soul going on. A little bit of something that might shake your groove tushy a little bit. And then, the other band that's playing that night, tonight, one of my favorite bands I found. And if anybody asks me, I've talked their freaking ear off about Fort Defiance. Come see them, understand why I like them. Hopefully you appreciate them. Hopefully it makes you, inspires you to do something. Other thing, Monday night, we're going to be starting Punk Rock Monday. We're going to be starting it a little bit late, 9 o'clock. There's a blues thing beforehand. We'll be there bartending, but we won't be playing the punk rock until after those guys leave. It's part of the Central Iowa Blues Society. I think it's their annual or quarterly meeting or something like that. So they're going to be doing that. We'll be bartending, and then afterwards we'll play some loud punk rock and carry on some conversations, get to know each other. As my friend Vinny used to say, get a little weird, maybe. Iced tea. Love that stuff. Quenches the thirstest. Anyway, so come on down, $2 wells, $2 PBR pints. Fun times, fun times. And plus you'll have, you get to look at the, and the Matthew James. For the ladies. And now for the rant. One thing, I've had some kind of pitfalls this week, some kind of setbacks, and general modern life, financial things that are starting to kind of pile up and get on my nerves and bug me. Also, I've been having some issues with focusing because I feel like I'm being pulled in all these different directions, so I've not been able to capitalize and do some of the things that I need to do to get to that next step. Part of that, I think, has to come down to a lot of times I'm just burnt out. That's what I thought it was at first, but now I'm starting to think that maybe I just need to start scheduling things again. Doing that, okay, I can't go do this until this is done, and just sticking with it. Which sometimes, with the type of business that I work in, somebody comes in, I'm doing piercing, or I'm doing multiple piercings, that takes up a lot of time, or a situation where maybe something happened at the venue and I have to get on it right away, or tours coming through that I need to contact immediately. So it's been doing some soul searching about that, and how I'm working and what's not working, and how I can focus better and try to reschedule. or schedule things a little bit better and use my time more wisely. Then, of course, I come home Saturday night, and in front of the door is a package. And I open the package, and it's the new Call of Duty. So there I went down that call. So no housework got done. No dishes got done. I've been on the couch pretty much nonstop I had a show on Sunday, Swinging Utters. So I was pretty much on the couch from the time I woke up, or when I got home from Swinging Utters, until I woke up to go to work on Tuesday, yesterday. Anyway, one thing that keeps coming up is this idea of being tragically hip. It always does with me whenever I look back on things. Like, what if I try not to be bitter about it. I try to be optimistic about it. There have been opportunities that I haven't capitalized on because I just didn't have the means to do that. I was ahead of the curve, maybe a little too far ahead of the curve, and went ahead and did what I did instead of waiting until the curve caught up. The popular culture. So maybe I've been thinking a lot about that. I've been also thinking about and it's an ongoing theme in my life in some cases. The phrase, and it's a quote, pioneers get the arrows, the settlers get the land. This whole concept that the people that actually set out, create the industry, create what's going on, create that cultural change, whatever it is, and the guy that comes up behind him and says, well, that's a good idea. Let me see what I can do with that. And then either innovates a little bit, changes the design a little bit, markets it a little different. That's the one who profits. And I've seen this happen to things that I do. And it's hard not to be frustrated about it. But if you move along and just give it time, things will straighten themselves out. A bit of philosophy that was told to me a long time ago is if you have an enemy, instead of confronting them head on, it's best to just leave them to their own accord, and they will probably screw it up much worse than you could, which has been the case in a lot of cases. Especially when it comes to criminals, just criminals in general. Give them time, they'll screw up, they'll rip off the wrong person, they'll get caught by the police, something will happen, and the punishment will be a lot worse than anything you could ever have done to them. So, and then there's those people that just walk through life like nothing's happening. Trains are burning down, or buildings are burning down, trains are falling from the sky. They're just walking straight through it like nothing. You know, the guy that walks up to the 500-pound bouncer and salts him and doesn't get his ass handed to him. Those kind of people. Anyway. Also, my experience that most people that have had succeeded in certain businesses aren't very smart. They're not very creative people. They only care about the money. There's no ethical involvement at all. I've constantly struggled with my ethics versus my profits. It's always a struggle. It'd be really easy to do certain things that would make me more money, but ethically it's wrong. There's not a law against it, but it's ethically wrong. So I don't do it. People think that's stupid. I've had these conversations with some of my competition, and they're like, oh, you're stupid for not doing that. You're just missing out on money. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I know I sleep well at night. I don't know if they do. And eventually, those things that they're doing will eventually bite them in the ass. Going around it. So, being tragically hip. Most people don't think I'm optimistic. I don't know if and I am an optimistic person, otherwise I would not be self-employed. I would have a 9-to-5 job. I'd have health insurance that paid by a company or partially paid for. I'd have a 401k, all that fun stuff that's security. I have self-employment because this allows me to do things I want to do. and I enjoy what I do. Sometimes having a business is kind of like having a child. Some days it's the most beautiful thing in the world, and you just can't get enough of their presence, and they are the greatest thing that ever happened to you. And other days, they're like the most annoying problem child on the planet. It's just the way things are. Everything goes in cycles. And I'm a screw the cows kind of, or walk and screw all the cows kind of guy. And that I should probably tell a joke. This is a joke I tell people a lot when I try to explain my philosophy with business and life in general. There's two bulls sitting on top of a hill, looking over a vast valley of an entire herd of cattle. Cows for miles, like as far as you can see. The two bulls are up there on top of the hill. The one bull, who's their father and son, the son turns to the father and says, Dad. And he goes, what, son? Dad, let's go run down there and have sex with one of those cows. And the father sighs, shakes his head. No, son. Let's walk down there and have sex with all of them. That's been my philosophy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It'd be easy a lot of times for me just to give up and move on. I don't, because of that. It's always going to get better. Anyway, enough of my depressing talk. Here, from Des Moines, Iowa. You'll recognize some of these guys: Trevor Powell, Joseph, and Rob Ogg. Rob Ogg's been in a number of different bands over the years. Also, Trevor Powell has. Great guys, I've known him forever. Joseph I don't know as well, but still seems like an okay guy. Their music is something to behold. It is unique and different. Half the fun of watching these guys play is watching how they interact with one another. It's partly improv, it's partly written. Sometimes it's difficult to know when songs begin or end, but there's like an emotional element to it that you don't find in a lot of different types of music, at least not standard format. And that's to be respected. They've come up with something unique. Here they are, Skin of Earth. Now, one of my favorite bands, Captured by Robots. Captured by Robots, I have a little backstory for this. I'll never forget, it was 1997. I was at Sean Cran's of Slipknot, his house, sitting on the porch, or the deck. My good friend Sophia John, who was their manager at the time, and I think Chantel was there, Sean's wife, and maybe Paul was there. And Sean perks up and he goes, dude, man, I just booked this band called Captured by Robots. It's the most incredible things on the planet. And the more he explained it, the more everyone started laughing. Because it was just obscure and weird and kind of funny. And there was a sense of humor to it, playfulness that is unique to this particular band. You know, I talked about Skin of Earth being unique. This is a unique concept. Basically, the premise is that J-Bach, Jason, who's been in, he was in the Blue Mimes, he was in, I believe, Skank and Pickles, a few ska bands, a few punk bands over the years. He's originally from Chicago. He decided he didn't want to do that anymore. He wanted to go off and do his own thing. He looked into creating a one-man band or doing solo. You know, it's that struggle that musicians have sometimes when a group effort is not producing what they want. So he looked into it, started doing some research, came up with the concept of creating robots to do his, to play part of the music. Now, the first time I saw him, it was very crude. I think there was a drummer that hit like a hi-hat, and there might have been a bass player that was playing bass or not, and a lot of recording tracks and so forth. Now, though, the entire thing is pretty much autonomous. It's all done by the robots themselves. They play bass and guitar on one side and drums on the other side. So the concept was, and what had me almost piss my pants was, so he creates these robots. And once he creates them, he is in complete control. But then one night they rebel and they take over and he becomes enslaved by the robots, thus captured by robots. And I might have explained this before. One of those cool little experiences having just because, and it was funny at that time just basically because of the people we were around and just some of the weirdness that was going on at the time. So it was a great memory. However, it wasn't as good back then. Now, man, he is on fire. I haven't even looked at the footage. I'm going to try to pick something good for you. He was all over the place in the audience. So I tried to kind of pan and scoom, but I'm terrible at that. I like to just stand there and kind of go, okay, how long can I hold this position without tapping my foot? Is usually how I record most of this music. I don't use selfie sticks. I don't use any type of tripods or single pods or whatever the hell those sticks are called. Because those aren't selfie sticks. They're something else. Just basically because I like to travel light. Anyway, here's Captured by Robots. Enjoy it.
fucking awesome. I don't know what you're talking about. That was the ruling. I'm awesome, motherfucker. Oh, man. How you guys doing tonight? I don't care. This song is, it's called What Is Wrong, and ladies and gentlemen, I fucking see everything in this world is wrong. Everything in this fucking world is wrong, it's killing me, man.
Was Captured by Robots. Check them out. You can find some of their music on Spotify. If you're not in the Des Moines area and they're coming to your area, check them out. Also, Skin of Earth. They tour occasionally if you're viewing this outside the Des Moines area, but they do play in Des Moines about every 3 or 4 months. They are something to see, something to experience, and that's not on the norm. It doesn't fit in that pigeonholes. So now we come to the end of the vlog. Hope my babbling didn't bother you too much. Hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed the time we spent together. And until next week, if you would like to see more of these videos, please subscribe by clicking up here. If you'd like to see more of the vlogs, click down here for the playlist. Over here, if you want to see more live music, click on the Lefties Live. If you want to know who I am and more about me, click on the personal site link. Good night.